Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Our national investigative team has found dozens of nursing homes that now have reported COVID-19 infections were previously cited for infection-related issues this year. In tonight's COVID-19 tracker, Investigate TV's Lee Zurich talks with the family of a man who died after staying at one of those and gets a last-minute response from the facility.
Separated by a sheet of glass, this is the last time Terry Terzini Minicello saw her husband alive.
Not knowing what my husband was going through for 4 days is taking me down. I can't sleep. I can't do anything because they didn't tell me what was wrong with my husband.
In late March, her husband, Thomas Minicello, battling pneumonia and open wounds, was sent to a Florida nursing home for rehabilitation. Less than 2 weeks after checking in, he was rushed to a hospital. He tested positive for COVID-19 and died.
We were trusting that they would take care of our father.
According to a February 7th report, inspectors cited the nursing home with several infection-related failures.
None of us knew that they were investigated in February about that till just now.
According to the report, staff failed to wear gowns in the room of a patient with MRSA. Staff failed to change one patient's dressing every 3 days as ordered and left another in the same bandage for 21 days.
Had we known that, I'm pretty sure we probably would have sent them somewhere else.
According to our analysis of state inspection reports and a Washington Post database of COVID cases, Freedom Square is one of at least 144 nursing homes across the U.S. with at least one positive case that was also cited by state inspectors from January to March for infection-related problems. The American Healthcare Association, which represents nursing homes, cites a Harvard healthcare policy professor who says past inspection failures had little to do with the current number of nursing home COVID cases. The group says federal and state governments fail to support nursing homes during this crisis by prioritizing their needs for PPE, testing, and staff.
The only way we could have stopped this would have been if we would have had less COVID in the community. The evidence is very clear that communities that have a bunch of COVID in them, like New York City, end up with a lot of COVID in nursing homes.
According to media reports, at the nursing home where Thomas Minicello caught the virus, more than 100 residents tested positive. The 73-year-old grandfather is one of at least 24 of those who died with COVID-19. The Minicello family says the Florida nursing home could have done more.
They forgot not only my father, but they forgot the elderly. Not only in Florida, it's happening all over the country. It's like the most at-risk people for this virus are being forgotten.
Freedom Square did not respond to our initial request for comment. Today, the executive director called our team back. He said the building where Minicello stayed did not have infection-related deficiencies this year prior to the outbreak. He also said the infection-related violations do not put nursing homes at more risk for the coronavirus. In an email late this afternoon, he told us all deficiencies have been resolved and that safety is their top priority. A nursing home locally called out by North Dakota's governor for refusing free testing says it hasn't refused any testing. This comes despite emails from state health officials saying that new prospective senior living in West Fargo refused twice. Governor Burgum says he wants all nursing homes tested for COVID-19 by tomorrow. In a statement, New Perspective says they're working with the health department on a facility-wide testing and have requested additional information.
Particularly as it relates to long-term care, where we know we've got challenges in long-term care as the nation does.
The company declined to answer questions on why it refused testing, as the health department says, and they didn't respond to subsequent calls. The governor says 50 nursing homes in the state have at least one person who tests positive for COVID-19. Governor Burgum also says he has a concern over his goal of hitting 6,000 coronavirus tests a day by June. While in Washington, D.C. yesterday, he noted that North Dakota does not have a major testing lab like other states. The governor said to hit his goal, they will have to rely on private-public partnerships.
it's important that we're going to continue to do testing broadly across state to make sure we're not missing any hotspots, because this highly contagious virus has the ability to pop back up again, particularly in vulnerable congregate settings.
Burgum also addressed the low coronavirus numbers in North Dakota, saying it's not so much the low population here, but the decisions making people.
I think it really comes back to individual responsibility that determines, because it's human to human transmission. It's not building to building or road to road or car to car. It's how humans behave, and they can behave well or unwell in this new environment, in any environment. But I'd say by and large, North Dakotans have been doing a great job across the whole state.
The Red River Valley Task Force is trying to hit 1,000 tests a day in Cass County. More details on that are expected tomorrow. The app that's meant to fight North Dakota COVID-19 is now facing scrutiny from people on social media. They're wondering whether the app is safe. As Valley News Team's Alexandra Kay explains, there are privacy concerns on the information being collected and where it goes.
The COVID-19 app has been available since April 7th, and according to the developer, over 50,000 people are using the app in both North and South Dakota.
I really think it was a good tool that they wanted to come out with to make it easier for people to track where you have been.
Much like the Bison Tracker, the COVID-19 app tracks your movements on your phone. So if you ever test positive for COVID-19, health officials will know who you came in contact with.
There is no way I would remember where I was 14 days ago. I could probably narrow it down, but it wouldn't even be close to being accurate.
The app doesn't ask for your name. Instead, it uses a group of random numbers as your ID. If the user tests positive for COVID-19, they will have the option to share their information with the Department of Health for contact tracing.
We share data with no one. So it just goes into the cloud and sits in this tiny little server in Des Moines, Iowa, and nobody ever sees it.
The server is owned by ProudCrowd, and developer Tim Brookins says he is the only one that has the login details. He adds that the information the app collects is deleted every 14 days.
The state does not have access to any of the data in there. There's only, the only way they get access to the data that's in there is if someone tests positive and if they consent.
For Swenson, the safety and security of the data that the app gathers is not a cause for concern.
I look at it as more of a protection. It's a number that is being shared. They don't know by my number who I am, and I don't know who they are.
Brookins says he knows it isn't a perfect tool, but they're constantly updating it to make it more precise in tracing the spread of COVID-19. In Fargo, Alexandra Kay, Valley News Live.
Developers are working on a Bluetooth feature. It will allow devices that have the app to share their ID via Bluetooth, simply by being within close range. Taking a look at North Dakota's numbers for the day, the total number of cases now sitting at 1,712. That's an increase of 65 cases from yesterday. 1,007 people are now listed as recovered in the state, meaning there are 705 active cases. No new deaths have been reported. Minnesota is confirming there have been over 13,000 COVID-19 cases. The total stands at 13,435, an increase of 518 from the day before. 25 more deaths have been reported, bringing Minnesota's total number to 663. 9 deaths are still listed as probable, even though a positive test result isn't on file. 9,136 people are listed as being recovered. Here's a heads up for anyone driving in the Moorhead area next week. You might encounter some overnight lane closures. They're going to be closing between 8 p.m. and 6:30 in the morning. That's starting Sunday. Crews are checking a number of bridges to make sure they're safe and making repairs. Now, this includes the I-94 Red River Bridge, Highway 10 Veterans Memorial Bridge, Highway 75 bridges over I-94, and the 20th Street Bridge over I-94, among others. Also, the westbound I-94 on-ramp to 20th Street will close overnight on May 17th for road repairs. It will reopen on Monday by 5 a.m. The North Dakota DOT opened its offices across the state this week. More than 1,200 people have already made appointments during the pandemic. Each day, the office remains booked. Everyone who's made an appointment finds out that their trip to the site will look different now. Officials say you're going to need to take a health screening and also a temperature check to ensure that all employees and staff are protected. If you're planning on taking a driver's license test, officials say that they are asking you to bring a mask and gloves. To learn more about this story, visit Valley News Live's app. Hundreds lined up in the former Kmart parking lot today for a chance to buy meat from area producers. The number of sellers is growing as they offered up sausage, beef, hamburger, brisket, and tenderloin. Organizers say this gives people a chance to help our local producers during these challenging times.
This is the first time I've actually done this, and it's honestly kind of a little overwhelming. I didn't realize the amount of people that are out here looking for locally raised meat. It makes me proud to be a producer. It really does.
Told that they'll be there every other Thursday at the same time and the same place.
Luther Family Ford providing this view and quiet conditions. Finally, the wind taking some time off, as well as those clouds across the valley. Here is a look at today. Very quiet weather-wise for most of the area, but north of Highway 2, we had some thunderstorms rumbling through, and in the Roseau area, some hail fell. Brenda sending in this photo covering the deck with hail, and some reports of around a quarter inch of rain in Roseau as well. A little farther to the south, severe weather moving out of Iowa now, and that severe weather extends all the way into the nation's midsection as Kansas City and Kansas seeing severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings heading into the evening, but a whole lot of quiet to our north and to our northwest, and that sets the stage for some beautiful Friday weather. It's 50 at Moorhead's Airport. We have 8-mile-per-hour winds at Hector from the northwest and 48 degrees in Fargo. 40s, low 40s, I should say, in northeast North Dakota. 46 for Roseau, and in Lakes Country, Detroit Lakes this hour, 48 degrees with Gwinner at that same reading this hour. As we head to bed tonight with the clear skies and the calm winds, we'll cool into the upper 30s in many of our locations briefly. Then that sun comes out and goes right to work. And a couple of good things you're going to notice right off the bat: no wind tomorrow. It looks very quiet wind-wise. Plenty of sun. And by your midday hour, your lunchtime temperatures will be right around 60 degrees. On our way to near 70 in our southern counties and in Grand Forks as well. Up north near the international border, low to mid 60s will be likely. It looks quiet for the evening and perfect to get outdoors and just enjoy some spring-like activities or maybe some good old-fashioned yard work, Mike Morgan. 38 in the morning, 54 in the late morning hours, rising into the 60s as we go through our afternoon to near 70. Pretty quiet, maybe a few more late day clouds, particularly in southeast North Dakota near Oaks and Gwinner. Temperatures for most will be in the 60s. Hey, Saturday, we're talking about a chance of showers, but did you see that? Most of it stays to the south of Fargo. I think that's where we'll have the biggest concern. Vicki captured this in Valley City. We had fog on the ground, clouds above, even some showers of rain falling this morning, a little bit of everything. Thanks for sharing your photo. Here's that Saturday hitch in the old giddy-up. And our southern valley counties, because of the clouds and because of the showers, are going to see temperatures that'll be cooler than our neighbors up north, where it'll be in the 60s once again. So beautiful start to the weekend in places like Grand Forks, Thief River Falls, Devil's Lake. Sunday, we were bound here in Fargo at 70 degrees. And next week, other than a little bit of wind that's typical around these parts and some midweek showers, we're looking at some hot weather near 80 to 85 degrees for the beginning through the middle of next week. Mike, all in all, not too bad as we close out a work week in style tomorrow.
And two words you don't put side by side very often in your forecast for here: no wind.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll take it. Thanks. Next on Valley News Live 10 at 10, what two teachers with the help of their students are doing to say thanks to frontline workers.